Hello, today we're going to be presenting a walkthrough of Blue Otter Software's Water Information Library and Unified Reference Application, also known as WILbUR. This version of WILbUR is presenting data, water quality data gathered by the Greene County Water Information Network, GCWIN. This is Upper Colorado River Basin data. The data that this video was made with is a testing subset of the GCWIN data. Currently, WILbUR on GCWIN's site is not linked to from the home page. You have to type in the URL. So let's do that in the browser of your choice. We'll type in WILbUR, WILBUR, gcwin.org. As you can tell, I've been there a few times. Let's navigate to there. WILbUR will currently work with Internet Explorer version 7 or newer, Firefox version 3.5 or newer, and Google Chrome version 8 or newer. So you can use the browser of your choice to utilize the GCWIN data and other data that WILbUR can make available. Here's the opening view of WILbUR. As you can see, we have the Sites tab. This tab shows you a list of all sites available for the data set that we are viewing. In this case, again, it's GCWIN data. These are their data collection sites. We have a parameters tab, which shows the parameters for the selected sites. In this case, we have no selected sites, so it's showing us all parameters in this testing data subset. And then a data tab. Let's start off with the sites view. The first view is the map view, as you can see. We have a map of Greene County in a standard Google Maps interface. Currently, we're looking at the terrain view, which is a topographical map view. We can look at a hybrid type view, which is a hybrid of satellite and with map annotations. So here, for example, we can see Highway 34 as it comes down out of the park past Lake Granby, and Highway 40 as it joins into the Colorado River, heads towards Kremling and down into Gore Canyon. We can also view the straight satellite view without all the map annotations if we wanted to. Or we can view a standard map. Let's go back to the terrain view in this case. And we're actually going to pan in. You notice we can click and pan by clicking and holding the map. Again, a standard Google interface. We're going to zoom in right there on Hot Sulphur Springs right there. Let's zoom in there. And we want to look at some data here for Hot Sulphur Springs above the water treatment plant. Notice as we mouse over, we get the label as it's available for that site in question. We're going to click on that site, confirm the data, select the site, and notice that we get a positive feedback that we have selected this. It goes to a green state. The marker goes to a green state. Also notice that the parameters are now showing a subset of the parameters available. These are the parameters that are available for the selected site currently. And the data set is also a subset of the overall data set. It's just data for the currently selected parameter or all parameters for the selected sites. So let's go to the next view and let's select a parameter. Even though there's one parameter, we still need to select it. We selected that one at one parameter. Then we go to the data view. In this case, we're looking at a standard list view of the data, and we can scroll through the data. There's a slight response time as it goes back to the back end. Again, we're looking at over 12,000 records, which is a very large number of records. Typically, this wouldn't be that useful to somebody just viewing it, but again, that view is there. And if we download the CSV file, it will download all 12,757 records currently filtered. Let's go to a graph view and view a quick graph of that. Notice now that it tells us that we can't graph more than 5,000 data points. The WILbUR is primarily a data access tool. It's not meant for in-depth analysis. The graphing function is meant for a quick glance at the data and to do simple analysis, not for in-depth analysis. There are much better tools available for your desktop to do that. So, we believe that being able to download that as a CSV and do a quick view as a graph is probably a much better way for you to go. That way you can use the tools that you're familiar with to analyze the data. Due to limitations in the web client and browser, WILbUR is also only able to graph 5,000 data points in 6 or fewer parameters. So we'll need to filter this data further. In this case, we're going to take a look at just the August data. So we can click on the date filter here, and it's going to pop up a standard UI to allow us to select that date. And we're going to go back to 2009. That's when our data is from. And November's not a very interesting water month, so let's go back to August. We'll start at August 1st. And then we're going to go to August, to the end of August 2009. And in this case, we're going to type it in directly. So rather than spend the UI clicks, we'll go to 8/31/2009. And we can either hit tab or I can click off that tab view. If I go back to my data, notice now up here we're only displaying 3,646 out of 12,757 available records, so much lower than that 5,000 threshold. And now when we go to the graph, if I hit refresh, I should get a graph showing me the data for this site for the month of August in 2009. It is a scatter graph. It does look nearly continuous. Again, this is 15-minute data, which is fairly active data. And as you can see your standard daily spikes. If I wanted to narrow this date range further, I could do so. And I could also download this data subset of 3,646 records as a CSV file. So let's switch back. Let's take a look at some other site data, and we're going to take a look at, let's zoom out here, and we're going to take a look at multiple parameters. We selected a one site with one parameter, but let's take a look at some multiple parameters. Up around Grand Lake, there's a site that is the Columbine Mid. It's the middle of Columbine Lake, and we're going to select this site. Notice now we have 5 parameters instead of the 1 parameter from the last data set. And given a standard interface, a standard list interface, we can allow the user to select multiple items by using control click or command click, depending on your operating system. If you're on a PC, typically you're going to use a control click to select more than one. So we want to look at the average Secchi depth, and let's say we want to look at the temperature too, and maybe we want to look at recreation potential, which is an arbitrary scale of 1 to 5 on the recreation potential for that site at that gathering time. Now we have 3 of 5 parameters selected, and notice we have 9 of 48 data points. That's because we still have our date filter in effect. Let's switch back to the data tab here so we can kind of see what's going on. You can see that we have 3 data points for every gathering of data. So here on 5/31 at 11:30, we have the recreation potential, and here we have the Secchi average depth, and here we have the water temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So let's clear these filters, but to clear these filters, you can highlight the whole date, hit delete, and again, I can either click outside that box or I can hit tab to change focus. So we're going to hit tab, we're going to delete that, and hit tab. And notice now we're seeing all 48 of these data records. Again, this is a testing subset. It is not the full set. If we go back to the graph and hit refresh here, we see that we now have 3 data points. There is our water temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Here is our Secchi depth, and here is our recreation potential. And we could download that CSV file. It will download the data pretty much as we see it here in the list view. So we'll get all data points, and again, you can make use of whatever analysis tools that you want on your local machine to then do that. to further do that analysis. I hope this video has helped you understand how you can utilize WILbUR to view and download water quality data that will be useful to you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at Randy at BlueWaterSoftware.com. Have a great day.